Hello, everyone, and welcome. So, whoever is joining for the first time in our this weekly connect. So, what we do is I have started this initiative RP Rookies, where every week we try to address one common problem or one query that most of the people has. So, previously we have talked about how to get job as a RP developer. In the first weekly connect, we talked about like how to start your career in the RPA. So today what we are going to do is this is not only the people who are over here, but to others as well who has this particular query that how should I find the use cases to practice, right? So now there are multiple ways of finding the use cases. Like before we started this recording, and Piyush had some points also that he had kept. So today we'll see how we should find the use cases, not only just from learning purpose, but maybe if something we have implemented that could be added in our CV or resume as well. So we are going to today discuss on that. And I don't want it to keep like only I'm the one person speaking and there's no one else asking questions or anything. So just let's keep it interactive. If you all have any queries in between, just unmute yourself and you can ask the queries. Okay, so let's start with it. So like also Piyush as well also mentioned that we should try to find the problems that we are facing in our daily life. See, we almost spend half of our day or most of our time on our systems, right? Be it company system or be it your personal system, but you do many things. Maybe you sometimes download email, you sometimes download attachments with some specific format, or you do some Excel operations or anything as such. So now that every small piece of or every small action that you perform on your system, you can try to make a note of that. So let's say, let me open my notepad. So what I'm doing is I'm opening a Excel file. Maybe I have told to write something in Excel or make some data or something like that. So I'm opening the Excel. I'm seeing the data from somewhere, right? So this is how we are trying to understand the use case that we are seeing in our daily life, right? And we are trying to build a use case around it so that we can learn and practice in the RPA tool which we are learning. So open an Excel, seeing the data from somewhere, maybe it is a website or something like that. Then you are writing the data, right? Now in this writing the data, there can be two things. One, you are writing in the default Excel file, right? Or the other thing can be you have a input template. So let's say I have an input template where it is something like employee ID, name. So in the besides employee ID, I have to write the employee ID. Besides name, I have to write the name. So in that way, you will see there are many such situations or conditions coming when you wherein you are doing this kind of process manually. So first, always try to understand the manual process that you are doing. Don't just go to UiPath and start dragging the activities and perform the operation. Now, why I'm saying is why you should understand the manual process behind it is the very important reason is when you go within an organization or when you are working as an RP developer, it is not going to be like you have to just get started with the development. You will have to first understand the process. You might sometimes be asked to understand the technical feasibility of that process, and you might have to see if it is possible to automate or not, right? So in that case, what you will have to do is you will have to understand it properly, right? That whether that is possible or not, how are you going to do that? So understanding the manual process is going to be very crucial every time. So first try to identify what is the manual process you are performing, then go ahead and start with the development. So in this way you can think of yourself the use cases. It's not like always you will need someone or you will need some website or articles that will tell you, yes, this is the kind of use cases that you should implement or that you should learn. You can yourself think upon that. Now let's say if I want to do something like this, if I want to, I'll try to identify very common scenarios. Let me quickly think of some scenario. Okay, yeah. What many times there are CRM automations being performed or there are other application automations being performed, right? What you can do is if you don't have that kind of applications, because that is many times a problem that we don't have the resources to implement a use case if we have thought of. What you should do, just simply build a Google form or Microsoft form, right? If you want to learn web automation, in that you have drop down, in that you have check boxes, in that you have radio buttons, sometimes we have that line meter as well, that rate between 1 to 10 or like that, right? So in that way you can yourself make the resources available to you. Just simply design a Google form, prepare an Excel sheet of data, and fill in the data. Now if you want to do something like email automation, so in that you can get the use cases like reading the emails of specific subjects, extracting the email body, or something like that. So I hope till now, like how to understand the manual process and identify a use case for practice, some part of that particular thing is clear to you. If you all have any questions, then you all can ask. You can unmute
Oh,
yourself.
okay,
Yeah.
I have a question. So, how do you identify a process that is automatable and a process that is not automatable?
Okay. So now, if you think that, like I said, first you need to identify the manual process behind it, right? Like how it is happening. Then try to see whether that kind of same development or that kind of similar activities or complex logic or whatever we can call that is available in the RPA tool that you are using, right? It might be UiPath, it might be Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, or anything as such. So the manual process, first understand that, and then see that do you have that kind of activities available with you, right? Or do you have that kind of logic that you can build within that automation tool? If yes, then it will be automatable, right? If not, then you will identify that pain point, that where is the problem coming, which part cannot be automated, so that you can maybe later convey to the business user or your team lead or someone like that, that I have identified this particular scenario where maybe we do not have something which is by which it is possible to automate this. So I hope you got the answer for your question.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Okay, okay, great. Anyone else having any questions? Okay, there's a quite silence. Oh, no. So now also we have one great resource, that is Google, right? Now if you want to know what are the business use cases, right? If you want to go to some more advanced level and you want to try to identify that, first we have one YouTube as well. And before that, right now I want to, okay, there was someone who was working as a data modeler role or something like that. Was that you, Arpit?
Yes, Parth.
Okay, so let me search RPA in data management. Okay, if you see, the very first article is how robotic process automation eases data management, right? Now I think Arpit might be very well aware about all these terms that we are seeing over here, right? Now this is
Yes.
by TWI organization. So if I go over here, now it's not necessary that you will always find a direct use case which you will read and just go ahead and start with implementing in your RPA tool. You might have to understand that process. You might have to create a dummy data, right? So if we see over here, program that performs repetitive tasks could be useful for enterprise looking for. Okay, so I'm not very sure about how this happens in data management or something like that, but let's say there is one Excel file which has a lots of data, right? Arpit, we might encounter that many times. We have Excel files data that has lot of data, and some data filtration or massaging has to be done, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now if I consider UiPath, see, in UiPath, you can change the data type of the columns, you can filter the data, you can split the data, you can join the data. So there are multiple options available, right? Now let's consider if you want to do something like that, that you have 7 to 8 columns, you want to use only 4 for processing, you want to remove empty rows, you want to remove duplicate rows. So now that use case can be used in the case like you need to fit it into in such a way that this I am doing is something that is data massaging and data filtration, which is also done in the data management. So when my Excel file is coming, my RPA bot might filter the data initially, right? After filtering the data, if I have the proper data that I want, I can use it to build some charts within the Excel, which is definitely possible in our UiPath or in AA, I'm not sure about, or in Blue Prism, but in UiPath, yes, it is definitely possible that you can make the charts of the Excel data that you have. Once you have made the chart, let's say you want to only extract the chart as an image or a PDF and you want to mail it to some user. So that all complete process is available. Now, if you see, just while talking, I have developed one complete use case. So what I can do is I can just prepare a dummy Excel file, right, with some empty data, with some unwanted data. I can perform the data massaging using my data table activities or Excel activities. And once that is done, I can build the charts using some other activities, and I can extract the chart and send it to the user. So in this way, if you see, I just now built a complete use case that you can use it for your practice. What we did is we just Googled the sector we want to find the use case in, and we tried to understand that. I didn't even read the article, but the use case was automatically built, right? So this is how you should think, and you should perform the ideation as well. This will help you, in the long term, that you know how to understand the process, you know how to do the ideation of the process. You can also see whether it is technical feasible or not, or what is the technical feasibility of that process. So I hope till this much it is clear that how you can find the use case for your practice. Now, if you all have any questions, I can take that, or else we'll see what else we can look within this. So if you all have any questions, please go ahead. I think, did I explain that well that no one has questions? Okay. Many people wanted me to take this topic, and there are now no questions coming.
You explained very well.
Is it that boring?
No, Pati explained perfectly.
Guys, we don't want to keep it. I don't want this to be some webinar that I do normally. So please go ahead and ask whatever queries you have, or anything concerns that you have regarding practice and all that, because after this, when we connect next time, there will be another questions. We won't be taking same queries again and again. So let me know if there's anything, or maybe let's see, we'll Google something else and we'll explore that as well. If we are good to go with some other further part, then you all can just put it in the chat that good to go for the further part. Now later, I don't want people asking the same queries after this call in our WhatsApp group. So that should not be the case. Okay. Hari says good to go. Okay. I think either people have just joined the meeting and left their phone, or maybe some are paying attention. Let me go to youtube.com. Yeah. So now let's see how you can utilize YouTube to get your use cases. Now we have known there are so many content creators in whatever tool you want to learn, right? There are so many content creators that the content is going to be less for you to practice, right? So if I go over here and I just simply type RPE use cases, right? You see there are particular domains as well coming, but I'm just going to keep it generic. So if you see over here, there are many videos coming. RPA use cases, how to use RPA for invoice protection. Okay. One more thing. Whenever you see a use case on UiPath channel, they just demonstrate the solution, but you get a very clear idea looking at their videos that what are the actual business use cases that are being implemented. So I will suggest you to keep a check on UiPath's official YouTube channel, not any other channel, but UiPath's official channel, so that what will happen there is you will get to know the use cases that are being used within the industry or within any particular organization, and it might be possible that you might not be able to implement the exact same use cases, but you can start with doing some part of that particular use cases, right? That will help you understand. Now what will happen in that case is, if there is suppose a use case which is quite a complex process, right, then in that case what you should do is break down the process, right? Don't just try to implement everything at once. Like we talked about the Excel use case where we have to filter the data, then create the chart, and then mail that particular chart in a PDF or format. Now let's break the use case, right? Breaking the use case. First one is get the Excel file. Okay, once you have the Excel file, reading the Excel file, when you will break any complex use cases that you have read or seen, it will become very much easier to you to build the complete process as well. And it also follows a best automation practice as well, that you break your workflow and don't just involve everything in one single you know one single process. You can use in work workflows, you can create different workflows. Now okay, again coming back to breaking the use case, get the Excel file, reading the Excel file, right? Then reading the Excel file, it is also equivalent to and saving the data, right? Identify the data to be filtered. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, identify the data to be filtered. Now once you have identified, what you have to simply do is filter the data, right? Fourth one is filter the data. Fifth step is check out the activities to make chart, right? Sixth is export chart to image or PDF. And the seventh one is mailing the out. Now if you see, initially when we discussed, it was a long use case. Now get the Excel file, right? It is just simply as using the Excel activity, right? Now the same goes over here. Then identifying the filter, that is a manual step that you have to think. After that you have to use data table activities to filter, and this also Excel activities will be useful. Maybe you might have to use some custom activity or a C# code or something like that. Here again Excel activities will be useful, and here is simply email activity. Now if you see, if someone told me to implement this use case, I have I have the complete solution right in front of me. If you see, each and every step is pretty much clear, which activities where I have to use it and what I have to do, right? So if you see, that is pretty much clear to us, right? That how we have to do, what we have to do, and what we have to use. Now after this, it just comes to a point where you have to arrange them, arrange the complete process in a proper sequence or a flowchart, whatever you are using, and build your complete automation. So I hope the question that everyone has, a very big question, that how should I find the use case to practice, how should I understand the use case. Now in this session till now, we learned one very important thing, that how to break a complex process, right? How to break a complex process and implement that complex use case. Because if it is a complex use case and if it is approved by, let's say, the BA or someone like that, then it will be definitely implementable. Maybe it might be complex, so you can follow this kind of approach to implement your use cases. I hope this particular concept or this particular trick that I use in my daily life is pretty much clear to you. If any
Yes.
questions, then you all can ask.
Are there life projects you can work on, like maybe solve problems for a particular organization or something? I mean, life projects one can work on to practice.
No, sorry, Adimala, I didn't got your question.
Okay, I mean, agile life projects, like these use cases, right?
Right.
Agile life project, like projects one can work on to practice.
Okay, so you are saying this use case, what we saw right now, is it a proper business use case as well?
Yes,
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 see,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, it can be. Now see, all the use cases will always differ from organization to organization, right? In some organization, this automation might also have been done, right? That data massaging is done, charts are prepared, maybe now to make this process more complex, let me add one more step. Okay, now once I have the charts to image or PDF, right? My seventh step is to make a presentation, right, with all the charts that I have exported. Each slide should have one chart that I've exported, and that presentation should be mailed to the business user. Now this makes it more complex. This can definitely be a business use case. So it will always differ from organization to organization. But here we just saw a simple representation of a use case. Now, if you see, this wasn't the use case I had at all thought before starting this session. I just made it right now by thinking what all are the manual process can be done and how I will implement this within my robot or within my automation process. So I hope your question is answered, Adimola.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay, great, great. Okay. Anyone else? Again, we have the 10 minutes, last 10 minutes remaining. So before we end the session, if you all have questions, just ask it. No one has any questions? Then maybe next time we need to find a topic which actually everyone has the problem with, because if we are investing our time, all of us, it should be helpful to each and every one of them who has queries on that particular problem. See, because I actually don't want it to go like a webinar every time. So if we are going to keep it interactive, we will have to find that kind of queries to be addressed in our weekly connect. So yeah, you all can ask the questions. We have last 8 minutes remaining, or else we are good to end, because if no one has any questions, then
Hi, Arpit here.
yes, sir. Tell me.
So you're explaining about the CRM. We don't have CRM. You said correctly. The Google form can be used. And just can you elaborate this? Like,
Okay. See, now what happens is, even if you are using a CRM application, right? You might have a drop down, you might have a text box, you might have radio buttons or check boxes, anything that you have to do the web automation with. The similar kind of things that you can add in the Google form as well. We have seen drop downs, we have seen multiple things. So just prepare that Google form, use it to enter the data, and build your understanding or logic of how to use selectors and how to edit the selectors, how to make dynamic selectors. So just to see, our concern is to understand the concept, not to every time just build a use case. So this particular approach of using a Google form or a Microsoft form will help you build your concept of that particular topic.
yeah, got it. Yeah, we can read, we can enter it and we can read also using Excel activities.
Exactly, exactly. Perfect. Okay, I think let me stop the recording. So thank you all for attending. We are not ending it yet. So let's